Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to Ask Dr. Jeff, the interactive Zoom experience where we discuss all things photobiomodulation and LifeWave technology. I'm your host and facilitator, Dr. Jeff Hubbard. I'm a medical doctor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and a huge advocate, a big enthusiast for this revolutionary technology. LifeWave is a biotech company. It's been in existence for 20 years and counting. They were founded in 2004 by Mr. David Schmidt. We'll get to that in the presentation. He was tasked by the Department of Defense back then to create a reasonable solution to fatigue and uh, all of the necessary things that happen with our special operatives and military field experts who are on long missions, doing God knows what in God knows where, right? So instead of being caffeinated or using amphetamines or any other type of drug or solution to create the type of energy necessary to complete these missions, he found a utilization through light therapy, also known as photobiomodulation, to move the flow of chi energy, right? This is very popular in traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture, the understanding that there is a flow of energy that moves through the body on a daily basis. And when that flow gets blocked or stagnated, it creates challenges for the body to function at its peak. So that was the first patch of its creation. It was called the Energy Enhancer back in the late 1990s, early 2000s. And then 9/11 happened in 2001, and the Department of Defense shifted their budget to do something different, obviously. And he was then allowed to take this product to market, and thus LifeWave was created. And so since then, he has created 11 other patches, 12 other patches, 11 now that we have the capability to sell and distribute worldwide. So this is an amazing opportunity to create a natural solution, a healthy approach to creating optimal wellness, optimal health for our systems, for our bodies, for those, for our loved ones, our circle of influence, anybody who you'd like to introduce this technology to, you have the capability to do so. The boom, the shift, the change really happened in early 2019 when the X39 patch was released for us to test drive and for us to experience. And this X39 is unique, more so than any of the other patches, because it was the first of its kind to be clinically proven and patented to raise stem cell levels, right? So instead of getting injections, instead of taking an oral supplement to improve the way in which stem cells grow, develop, and function in the body, this is all done through light. No drugs, no chemicals, nothing crosses over the skin barrier, and you wear these patches on your skin, all right? So we're gonna go into more depth in the presentation. So I'll go ahead and get that started, but I wanted to make sure that we cover this so that you guys are fully aware of what LifeWave is capable of and where its origins began. Okay, we are ready to rock and roll, guys. As per usual, we are going to be talking about how you can revolutionize your life, revolutionize the lives of others with the power of stem cell activation, all right? Let's just talk a little bit about me. You guys know me, most of you do, but if this is the first time you're watching the program, I am a concierge medical doc, very compassionate about introducing people to the various different modalities and the various different approaches to achieve their health goals through natural approaches, right? Two things that I'm very, very excited about is understanding the human body, making sure that you understand your body, and also very passionate about photobiomodulation and this LifeWave technology. So I've shifted more from the traditional practice of medicine into entrepreneurship and business consulting, and just a couple of specific interests My master's is physiology, so I just love how the human body works. Obviously, that goes hand in hand with human behavior, as mentioned, holistic health and natural approaches to medicine and lifestyle modification are just, to me, revolutionizing the way that we approach our health and just integrated wellness, guys. So many of us are connected to the medical system in a way that I think is unhealthy. We approach things by disease state, right? When you get a disease or you get symptoms, then you go and seek treatment. I am much more of an advocate for being proactive and circumventing the disease development phase altogether, and definitely interested in focusing on community health and community growth and public health. I think we all are after the pandemic. So let me tell you a little bit about my LifeWave story. Why am I adept at explaining how all of this works? Guys, I've been studying this technology and utilizing it both personally and professionally for 5 years now. When I was first introduced to the technology, I was a bit skeptical. You can imagine being introduced to a technology that suggests that it can raise stem cell levels and it can help wound healing and it can help improve people's conditions, chronic conditions, sleep, et cetera, et cetera. But I thought to myself, wow, if this really works, this is a game changer. And I've got to do some due diligence to make sure that I understand what's actually happening behind the scenes with LifeWave and with the technology that they're presenting to the community. And so, luckily, because of the pandemic, I had a lot of time on my hands to be able to read and research and study what was happening with this technology. And I got to be very knowledgeable over the next few weeks, which really got me excited. It prompted me to order my patches and to become a member of LifeWave and to test drive it for myself, guys. Those of you who know me on a personal level, you know I'm my own guinea pig. I'm never going to recommend anything that I haven't tried for myself and determined it to be valuable. So what I experienced was really powerful wound healing. That's because I introduced this to a friend of the family. I consider him an uncle. He and my dad were great friends, and he has assisted living facilities down in Houston. I was going to visit family, and we got the opportunity to put some of these X39 patches on one of the residents that was dealing with a difficult wound ulcer on his leg. It was not healing. The staff had been working diligently for 6 weeks or so to try to get this thing to heal. It wasn't doing so. In just 48 hours, from Friday evening to Sunday morning, that wound had significantly reduced, maybe from the size of maybe a silver dollar or so down to about the size of a nickel, and had begun to scab over and start to develop some of the healing aspects that we like to see with wounds. So I was too thrilled about that. I was like, wow, this is a game changer. This is the type of evidence that I wanted to see to be in full support and to put my name behind it. Also, I started to recognize some things that changed with me. I started to sleep like a baby, started to have a lot of great energy, started to feel younger, just more vibrant. Things that I noticed, playing basketball was easier. Things in the gym were easier. Physical fitness things were easier. My mental clarity and my focus when um, I didn't feel fatigued at the end of the day like I traditionally had been feeling. And I started to notice that my shoulder, which had been developing some tendonitis and some other issues with my rotator cuff, it was difficult for me to do things with my right shoulder. I was starting to really favor it in as a solution. I was using my left shoulder, and it just became challenging. Certain sleeping positions, it just would make my shoulder ache. That has gone away, guys, completely. And now I have virtually the same shoulder on the right side that I do on the left side. All of these things got me really excited. I started to join these nightly sales calls that were happening. Now I'm hearing people from all over the country. I'm hearing people from Canada and from the UK and from Australia and from Africa. All of these people are calling into the sales call to get more information about LifeWave. I'm going to be honest, guys, that really made things click in my mind. Wow, this is really changing lives all around the world. So I became the featured speaker on those calls Tuesday and Thursday nights and really learned a lot. Got the chance to meet a lot of awesome people who have been using LifeWave for since inception. And I got a good idea of how to leverage the different acupuncture locations and which patches do what. And it just became an obsession for me. So let's unpack photobiomodulation with a little bit more detail. Photo is the prefix. It means light. Bio, meaning biology or involving the human body, our cells. Modulation means to change. So changing the biology using light. So photobiomodulation is all about finding these specific wavelengths of light that help to shift our body, shift our cellular function, and enhance the way that all of these cells are going to function and improve the way that they work. The beautiful part about this is when you're changing things on a cellular level, then it just works its way up. Cells improve, tissues improve, organs improve, organ systems improve, and the way in which those organ systems work in harmony with each other improves, and we're able to achieve homeostasis, which is an amazing thing. Our body is innately designed to heal itself when we achieve homeostasis. So this light penetrating into the skin, it stimulates cellular function by interacting with the mitochondria. And so I like to think of our cells like little cities. One of my physiology teachers back in the day really blew my cap back when he started to explain that each of the cells have these different components. We call them organelles, all right? And each organelle has a responsibility. So you have some that operate like the post office. You have some that operate like City Hall. You have some that operate like the police department, fire department. And then you have the power plants, the mitochondria. They're responsible for producing the energy that keeps the city, or in this case, the cell, alive and functioning, and is able to ensure that the tissues and the cells are going to function at a high level. All right. So here's some common things that people recognize when they are exposed to photobiomodulation. One big thing that most of our LifeWave family articulate when wearing the patches is that they have improved pain tolerance. They have improved pain function or pain reduction. Improved circulation is a huge thing, right? So many of us in the United States are suffering in silence with issues of high blood pressure and issues with our cardiovascular system. So it's amazing to have improvement in circulation. Our immune system can be our best friend or our worst enemy. Immune function is enhanced. Energy levels, as we mentioned, cell function, as we mentioned, and another really awesome component that we note with the utilization of X39 and photobiomodulation is neuroprotection, right? So our brain cells, our neurons in our brain and our spinal cord and our peripheral nervous system and our enteric nervous system in the gut all are enhanced, and that helps cognitive function. What's an example of photobiomodulation? Is the only example LifeWave? Absolutely not, guys. We experience photobiomodulation on a daily basis. If the sun comes out and you step near a window or you step outside, you're experiencing photobiomodulation. Vitamin D is so important. It is so necessary on a day-to-day basis. Vitamin D is so important that we need it on a daily basis, all right? So every time we experience UV light, we get the opportunity to synthesize our own vitamin D, right? So that's a huge example of photobiomodulation. Another great example is when we're hanging out at the beach, we get a suntan, right? Suntans are the production, the enhancement of a molecule called melanin. And melanin, it helps to darken the skin. It helps to protect us from those UV rays. So that is another great example of certain frequencies of light enhancing the way our body functions and helps to improve the way in which our systems work. LifeWave's patented technology is all based upon these principles, which makes this thing very, very powerful and very, very exciting. And we always get the opportunity to share what's happening with you guys because of the capability of this technology's simplicity and efficacy, right? That's what I'm really excited about all the time is how we're able to provide a really simple yet profound solution to this amazing technology. And as we continue to kind of unpack what happens with photobiomodulation, we also have to make sure that we're always talking about the other elements of photobiomodulation as well, which, in my opinion, one of the most important aspects is the ability for it to help with pain and discomfort. Most of our LifeWave family is always seeking a solution to some of the angles and some of the issues with low back pain, with knee pain, with headaches, with autoimmune issues, and the like. So let's just unpack a little bit more about how these patches work. They have a combination of these organic materials proprietary approach that eventually, as they work together, they're like a liquid nanocrystal, and they're laid across this fiber mesh that's encased in the plastic. You see in the top right-hand corner there, those are the two hallmark locations where X39 is recommended to be placed. And once you have this elevated GHK copper peptide production, which is the molecule that is enhanced with this particular patch, you are going to start to see all sorts of benefits because of the gene expression modulation, all right? So as we were talking about those organelles and the things that happen inside the cell, our nucleus is probably the most important. It's where all of the magic happens because that's where our DNA is housed. That's where our genetics are housed. And this GHK copper peptide molecule has the capability to go in and influence the way that our genes are utilized, right? So some genes are really great. Some genes are not so great. Your mom and dad passed along some things to you that make you you and are beneficial. And they also passed along some things to you that may look like heart disease or insulin resistance or the capability to be slightly larger and more obese than you would like to be. And so in these instances, this GHK copper peptide has the capability to improve the way those good genes function and to decrease the way some of those bad genes function, right? So that's called upregulation and downregulation. So really awesome benefits there to stimulate the way that the cells function again on a genetic level, right? Downstream of that is going to be all about our stem cells, all right? So the more GHK copper peptide you have in your system, the more effective and activated your stem cells are. And so there's a lot of different schools of thought because now we understand stem cells on a much more profound level. Back in 2001, the second George W. Bush president, right? He signed into legislation the opportunity to begin to study stem cells. And we learned a lot more about their function. They're literally the fountain of youth, guys. The more stem cells you have, the faster you heal and the slower you age. So unfortunately, as we get older, our stem cells decline. And that's why X39 and X49, for that matter, and our latest patch are really valuable in helping us to age in reverse. These these patches are safe. They're natural. They only require to be worn 12 hours a day. So you want to give yourself a break. I think of it like daytime and nighttime. You get 12 hours or so of sunlight. That's your normal photobiomodulation. When you're wearing these patches with specific frequencies of light being reflected back into the skin, you are having a daytime and a nighttime function as well. No injections, nothing crosses the skin barrier, no drugs. And for less than a Starbucks coffee a day, you can have an amazing natural approach to reversing your aging process. So Dr. Picard, his research is the foundation for the creation of X39. He's been studying GHK copper peptide since the early 1970s, and he's been coined the turn back the clock doc. He's found approximately 4,200 genes that respond to this GHK copper peptide molecule. That's why we're so excited about it and why it has so many benefits for the LifeWave family and those who utilize the technology. So here are all the different patches that have now been created with LifeWave. We're missing one, which is the X49, released in 2022, and Nirvana has been discontinued, but these are all the other ones. And so the possibilities are just simply limitless. Taking these different patch technologies and understanding the various different acupuncture locations that we have and what they respond to and how we can utilize the combination of the photobiomodulation with the energetics of these acupuncture meridians and points. These products here in the United States have not been approved by the Food and Drug Administration as a type 2 medical device. They do not heal, treat, cure, prevent, or mitigate any medical condition, right? So let's just look at some before and after pictures, guys. In the essence of time, lots of these pictures speak for themselves. 2 months, this lady looks years, decades younger. Her hands as well. You can see some venous insufficiency on the right. That's improved with a couple of X39s in a 30-day trial. Look at some hair growth. All right, so any of you gentlemen in the audience with male pattern baldness or issues with follicle stimulation, balding, there's some really great examples of how your hair can grow in volume and in length. All right, now here's really my jam, guys. I love the fact that these wounds are healing faster than they normally do. So open rotator cuff repair on the left, thyroid surgery on the right. We can say on average, guys, that the wound healing is accelerated by about 50%, right? That these are the types of things that take twice as long to heal, all right? And I'm really impressed with this little boy's finger at the bottom. He got his finger caught in the door. It wasn't looking good. You can see the second picture, it looks like gonna lose the finger. However, it was able to come back, including the nail. That's really impressive in just 2 months. The research speaks for itself, guys. There are tons of articles on the LifeWave website, 90 plus to be exact. And if you are so inclined, there's also lots and lots of information about GHK copper peptide, about the benefits of LifeWave patches and the products that LifeWave patches enhance on PubMed.gov and also Google Scholar for free. Photobiomodulation falls into what we call frequency medicine. And this is what I believe is the future. We're living in the future right now, actually. And so we're on this new frontier. Just embrace this emerging science. Hear what I'm saying. You have the opportunity to begin to circumvent any conditions that are going on with you. GHK copper peptide is one of the most impactful anti-inflammatory molecules available on the market right now. And you have the capability to pull out your credit card and have these patches shipped to your doorstep. They come from Provo, Utah. It takes 2 to 3 business days for them to arrive. So let's just talk right straight about the opportunity of a lifetime with LifeWave. As you can see, we have just opened a brand new facility, just did the ribbon cutting a few months ago. Um, they are allowing people to come in and check out the amazing lobby there that you can see at the top right. This is outside of Salt Lake, Utah. Again, our distribution center is right here in the US, 2 to 3 business days. You'll have your patches. Um, and also, this is a global corporation. We've got 16 distribution centers around the world. So that's another great thing that I'm excited to share is how amazing this technology is to be impactful all around the globe. So think big. If you know someone in another country that could benefit, utilize this technology, we're essentially on every continent. This is really eye-opening, right? 270 billion in stem cell market cap. This is this year, guys. This was projected several years ago using this slide quite some time ago. That's why I had the little pause there because, wow, we're here. We're here at the point where stem cell technology, not just LifeWave, guys, but across the entire stem cell spectrum is going to equate to $270 billion this year. Here's the pricing. I'm sure for those of you who have been watching for the first time, you're like, well, how much are these patches? Guys, retail cost is basically 150 bucks. If you become a wholesale customer or you become a member like Costco or Sam's, you get a $50 discount. Common packages for membership at 4, which comes with 3 sleeves of X39. Advanced comes with 5 sleeves of X39. And premium comes with 19 sleeves of X39. And guys, you can actually mix and match with some of the other patches available. We'll get to that. If you're serious about becoming a member, I'll tell you maybe how to stretch out the funds that you spend to get a plethora of different patches and to be able to experience the benefits of each and every one of them. So if you're serious about being sharing the opportunity and being a part of our LifeWave business component, then I really would encourage you to consider the premium membership. It has a lot of great benefits and a lot of extra products. I'm a big advocate for retention, and I find that the better and more appropriately you understand the patch technology, how to use it for your body, how to use it for certain conditions and issues that you may be developing with your system, the more likely it is that you're going to continue to wear it, all right? 90-day current turnkey clinic or gym development program. If you have a gym, if you are a clinician of any type, or you know a clinician of any type, I'm more than willing to help support and get that information to that individual so that they can maximize utilizing this technology in their business.